How far can a revolution go? The first thing I learned when I was young was do not speak of politics. Never speak of politics. It was a mantra that was upheld in my household, and it was a mantra that I believe was upheld in many Sudanese households. See, when I was in university, a friend of mine was arrested and jailed, and his family was unable to locate his whereabouts for about a month. And we all implicitly understood that he must have done the thing that shouldn't have been done. He must have spoken of politics. See, not speaking of politics means we don't get to voice or dissect the problem. It means that many of us are not even given the chance to understand that there's even a problem. So we become silent, dormant, acquiescent. 2019 was the year that changed my life. It was a year that changed Sudan's history. The internet gave a voice to a revolution. It provided us with a safe space where we could express how we feel. A public square where for the first time in 30 years, we could voice out what the problem was. We could locate the problem and mobilize around the solution. I don't think I ever truly understood the power of the internet until that moment, when I got to see my community fighting for a cause much larger than ourselves. In 2021, our trajectory was shifted once again, and I got to see the other side of that coin. I remember the taste of fear flowing up my throat as we struggled to regain that momentum, as we struggled to find each other and mobilize, warn each other of the danger up ahead, warn each other of the danger on ground. See, we were living through a long month internet shutdown after a governmental coup. And every time we would go out to protest, we didn't know how many of us would make it back alive. There's tons of reports and research out there about the cause an internet shutdown has on human rights, the economic costs, the damage it causes. But I don't think any report out there can fully describe the fear of being in the dark, having all information lines cut from us, expecting the worst. Isn't it a technique in horror movies? That fear isn't induced by visual shock or physical reveals, but by the slow realization of something being wrong, the inability to identify the issue. If living through a revolution didn't cement the power of social media for me, living through an internet blackout sure did. Having said that, I think it's easy for me as a Sudanese person to see the power that social media has in creating a safe space, disseminating information, developing media democracy, and mobilizing people, the making of a revolution. I mean, these are just some of the ways social media has changed my lives. Our lives. I once heard that radical change isn't built on wars, but radical change is rather built on the development of new systems of communication. I've been working as a digital mediator for about a year and a half now, mostly in Sudan and Ethiopia. And I know what most of you are probably thinking, digital mediation, what is that? Well, to put it simply, it's the process of mediating conflict and peace building through the internet, whether that be by tracking online narratives that contribute to conflict, such as hate speech, disinformation, bots, targeted campaigns, or through the facilitation of dialogue between communities. It all falls under the umbrella of digital mediation. Previously, as a user, I had an overwhelming sense of the importance of the medium for myself and my community. But digital mediation broadened my vision in that regard as my vision was narrowed to myself and my experiences. See, through digital mediation, I was able to witness the effect of online hate speech on communities in East Sudan, an effect that I see mirrored in the conflict dynamics in Ethiopia. You see, hate speech has been an integral part of the promotion of tribalism, hate, division, And social media is a gateway to an area where people feel comfortable to express dangerous speech through a medium that is unevenly moderated and infinitely accessible. It's easy to see the effect of that kind of speech on peace and the way it contributes to the promotion of conflict on ground. And there's countless accounts from people from those communities detailing exactly how social media, a medium that was previously a haven for me, has dramatically exasperated the conflict for them. I talked about horror movie techniques before, and I think that there's another rule that applies here. In this place that social media creates where ambiguity thrives and robs nuance from important issues, in this place where disinformation grows rampant and leaves us confused and unable to understand what is real and what is not, who to trust. In this place where any efforts to unite and combat conflict is overridden by fear and instability and distrust of the other. I think the horror rule that applies here is don't show the monster, because it introduces the factor of ambiguity. This is what disinformation does to us. It surrounds the monster of a layer of fog so thick that we struggle so much to sift through it that by the time we finish sifting and struggling and shuffling and debating what is true and what is not, there is a whole monster in front of us. So how do we battle this monster of conflict and division? How can we as digital mediators tackle fear and public unrest in a medium as large as social media? How can we combat conflict drivers, such as hate speech, disinformation, online bots, and online campaigns? I think in this medium of social media, we can play that role. We can all be mediators. By realizing that our online habits, the way we interact online, the fact that our online personas has a very real effect on our real on-ground lives. The fact that the internet mirrors our on-ground dynamics and our on-ground dynamics reflect our online behavior. That what we say on social media does not exist in a vacuum, and it very much has an effect on the world around us. By realizing that we can begin with ourselves, by moderating our behaviors online in the same way we do here with each other, we can then begin to have an influence on our community and streamlining positive online norms and values. We can then reroute ourselves to remembering all the positive uses of the internet, and only then can we truly find out how far can a revolution go. Thank you.